General Hospital spoilers reveal that, let me start where my heart is right now, with Ethan passing that money test from Sonny. I remember thinking, as I watched it unfold, that this young man had finally proven himself in the only way that matters in Sonny's world, by walking away from easy cash when most people would have grabbed it with both hands. But here's where my years of watching give me a different read than what the writers might have intended at first. In the old days, when Sonny tested someone like that, it usually meant the person either became family or ended up on the wrong side of a pier. Ethan didn't take the bait, and for a moment I felt this rush of hope that maybe he really was different. Maybe he carried some of that quiet integrity we used to see in characters who surprised us all. Yet the more I turn it over in my mind, the more I see the layers the show is laying down so carefully. Ric, that clever half-brother of Sonny's, has been digging in the shadows, and what he's uncovered about Ethan keeping in touch with a mysterious contact back in Australia, someone who sounds an awful lot like Jacinda, well, that changes everything. I have to ask myself, and I bet you're asking too, was Ethan refusing Sonny's money out of pure loyalty, or is he playing a longer game, eyeing a prize that could come from both sides at once? I've seen enough double crosses in Port Charles to know that sometimes the quiet ones are the ones who rewrite the rules. Ric's investigation feels so personal to me because I've watched him and Sonny circle each other for years, half-brothers bound by blood but pulled apart by pride and old grudges. Ric has always had that sharp legal mind, the kind that spots the loose thread in a story before anyone else does, and right now that thread is pulling straight toward Ethan. Sonny is in such a bind, isn't he? He needs someone inside Sidwell's transport network, someone who can move through the shadows without raising alarms, and Ethan seemed perfect for it. But now, with Ric whispering in his ear about those late-night calls to Australia, Sonny has to decide whether to trust this new ally or start building walls against a betrayal that could wipe out everything the Corinthos name stands for. I keep picturing Sonny sitting there in that coffee shop he loves so much, staring at his espresso, weighing the evidence the way he always has. In my heart, I believe Sonny wants to believe in Ethan, wants to see the loyalty that he himself has fought so hard to earn from others over the years. But the show is building this tension so masterfully that you can almost feel the ground shifting under his feet. One wrong move here, and the entire organization could crumble like it nearly did back when old enemies came out of the woodwork. And then there's Ethan himself, standing at the center of this storm, facing Sidwell's growing suspicions that there's a mole right in his own ranks. I've always liked Ethan for that roguish charm he carries, the kind that makes you root for him even when you know the road ahead is dark. But lately the story has me wondering if we're seeing the birth of something truly dangerous, a new alliance between Ethan and Sidwell that no one saw coming. Imagine it. Two men who should be at odds finding common ground in the shadows, trading secrets that could reshape the whole waterfront. This isn't the original path the early hints of this storyline seem to promise, where Ethan might simply prove himself and earn a place at Sonny's table. No, the writers have taken us somewhere deeper, somewhere that feels riskier and more explosive. I've watched enough seasons to spot when the show is quietly rewriting expectations, and right now it feels like they're showing us that Sonny might choose wrong, that his faith in the wrong person could spark the kind of explosion in trust that leaves everyone picking up pieces for months to come. Sonny betrayed by Ethan? The very idea sends a chill down my spine, but it also lights a fire under the drama because we've seen Sonny survive worse, and the comeback is always worth the wait. Yet here's where my own longtime viewers' instincts kick in with a theory that might surprise even the most dedicated fans. What if Ethan's connection runs even deeper than Australia and a few whispered phone calls? What if the thread Ric is pulling leads all the way back to something like the Dawn of Day days, those eerie cult shadows that once wrapped around Port Charles and left scars we still talk about in fan circles? If Ethan is truly tied to that kind of hidden network, then Jacinda isn't just a contact. She's the key to a whole new shockwave that's about to hit. I remember how Dawn of Day twisted good people and turned loyalties inside out, and the show has always been brilliant at circling back to old wounds when we least expect it. This wouldn't be the straightforward mob infiltration we thought we were getting. This would be something layered with psychological depth, the kind that makes you lean forward on the couch and mutter, "I knew it." I've been wrong before about who would turn out to be the real villain, but the evidence the show is dropping, those careful glances, the unanswered calls, the way Ethan hesitates just a beat too long, it all points to a betrayal that feels earned rather than cheap. Sonny will be sold out, the Empire will shake, but from that shaking comes the rebirth we fans live for. The beauty of General Hospital, the reason it has held my attention all these years, is how it lets these stories breathe. It doesn't rush the explosion. It lets you feel the heat building week after week. Right now, that heat is everywhere. In Ric's quiet determination to protect his brother even when they can't stand each other, in Ethan's life or death tightrope walk inside Sidwell's operation, in Sonny's quiet moments where you can see the weight of every past mistake pressing down on him. I keep asking myself questions as I watch, the same way I did when I was younger and the show first hooked me. Will Sonny listen to Ric in time, or will pride blind him again? Can Ethan pull off the double game without losing himself completely? And what happens when Jacinda steps out of the shadows and the Australia connection becomes impossible to ignore? Each question finds its answer in the next episode, but never the way you expect, and that's the magic. The writers are proving once more that they understand what makes this show special. Characters who feel like family, even when they're making the kinds of choices that would tear any real family apart. I've seen Sonny rebuild from nothing more times than I can count, and every time it feels fresh because the threats evolve. This time the threat isn't just guns and money, it's trust itself, the invisible thread that holds the whole Corinthos world together. Ethan standing there, caught between two powerful men, refusing the easy path yet still reaching for something bigger. It reminds me of the younger Sonny we used to watch, the one who took risks that looked crazy until they paid off. But the show is showing us the darker mirror of that now, the version where the risk costs more than anyone imagined. I love how the story is forcing us to question everything we thought we knew about these men. Ric's discovery isn't just a plot device, it's a mirror held up to Sonny's own history of second chances and third chances. And Sidwell, that man moves like a ghost through the port, building his network while everyone else is looking the other way. The potential for a dark new alliance between him and Ethan feels like the kind of twist that could dominate the next 6 months of episodes, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it plays out. You know, as someone who's lived through every era of this show, from the Ice Princess days to the current waterfront power struggles, I find myself more invested now than ever. The way the writers are adjusting the story, raising the stakes gradually but relentlessly, it proves they still care about the long game. Sonny choosing wrong here won't be the end of him. It'll be the beginning of a new chapter where he has to face the consequences of misplaced trust in a way that feels raw and honest. And if Ethan really does have ties that reach back to those Dawn of Day echoes, then Jacinda's arrival will be the spark that lights the whole thing up. The explosion in trust, the new disasters waiting around the corner, they're all coming, and they're coming in a way that feels true to the spirit of General Hospital, where no one is ever truly safe and no secret stays buried forever. I sit here in my living room each afternoon, remote in hand, heart full of the same excitement I felt as a young mother stealing an hour to watch between chores. This storyline has me hooked because it honors the past while pushing forward into uncharted territory. Ethan isn't just a new face. He's the catalyst for questions we've been asking about loyalty for decades. Ric isn't just investigating, he's protecting in the only way he knows how. Sonny isn't just facing a business problem. He's staring down the possibility that his instincts have failed him for the first time in years. And through it all, the show keeps us guessing, keeps us feeling that delicious mix of worry and hope that makes every episode appointment television. Whatever happens next, whether Ethan turns out to be the ultimate betrayer or the most complicated ally we've seen in ages, one thing is certain. Port Charles is about to get very hot, and I wouldn't miss a single minute of it. The writers have given us a gift with this arc, a reminder that the best stories aren't about who wins or loses, but about how deeply we come to care when everything is on the line. And right now, everything is most definitely on the line.